Hello. Working on rebuilding the city churches after the Great Fire, Wren and his team called on the skills of the finest craftspeople in the country. Arguably, the most famous name is that of Grinling Gibbons, master woodcarver and sculptor. Gibbons was born in Rotterdam in 1648, the son of an English merchant and a Dutch mother. After serving an apprenticeship in the Netherlands, he came to England, arriving first in York, where he worked for 3 years before moving to London. He rented a small thatched cottage in Deptford, owned by John Evelyn, a courtier and minor official best remembered for his diaries. Evelyn recorded in his journal how, by mere accident, he passed by one day, spotted Gibbons at work, and was entranced by his craftsmanship. Evelyn told others, and may even have brought Gibbons to the notice of Charles II. However the king heard, it led to a first royal commission. Many more followed. Gibbons was soon officially master carver to the king. Gibbons' style was innovative, combining a lightness of touch with a greater depth than previously seen. At the height of his fame, Gibbons had a workshop on Ludgate Hill, employing around 50 other craftspeople and trainees, and he completed numerous commissions for Wren, including the reredos at St James Church, Piccadilly. With such a famous name, inevitably any high-quality woodwork of the period tends to be credited to Gibbons personally. He was hands-on. Outside the square mile, as well as the reredos at St James Piccadilly, he was also responsible for the carved organ case and the font. Noah's Ark and the Baptism of Christ are depicted on the bowl of the font, and its stem shows Adam and Eve standing either side of the tree of life with the serpent, an apple in its jaws at the moment of temptation. Apart from a documented reredos at St Mary Abchurch, monuments at St Bennet Paul's Wharf, and a commemoration of John Tillotson, Archbishop of Canterbury, at St Lawrence Jewry, it's only at St Paul's Cathedral that attribution to Gibbons himself is certain in the post-fire furnishing of the city churches. Elsewhere, it's largely conjecture. One of the enduring myths surrounding Gibbons is that it was his practice to carve a pea pod on his woodwork and showed it open when he'd been paid. An open pea pod on the pulpit at St Mary Abchurch has been cited as an example. The reredos at St Mary Abchurch we saw in part 5, reassembled jigsaw fashion after being shattered in the Blitz. It's in 3 sections, topped with vases, the central panel flanked by twin Corinthian columns with a gilded pelican in her piety centrepiece. Gibbons' work in the choir of St Paul's Cathedral is stunning. Canopied oak stalls are decorated with limewood carvings of cherubs with folded wings, garlands and flowers. Extra decoration is reserved for 3 thrones, for the Lord Mayor, the Dean and the Bishop. All Hallows by the Tower on Bywood Street, close to the Tower of London, sometimes known as All Hallows Barking because it once belonged to Barking Abbey, survived the Great Fire and still has some Saxon fabric. During rebuilding after the Blitz, the opportunity was taken to add a Wren-style spire. Inside there is an exquisite font cover by Grinling Gibbons. In the 1230s, Edmund Rich, Archbishop of Canterbury, ruled that there shall be a font of stone or other competent material in every church which shall be decently covered. It's been claimed the purpose of covering the font was to help prevent sanctified water being stolen for nefarious superstitious practices. I'm not convinced that's true, but it's a fact that by 1300 many font covers were being secured with the addition of locks. When you consider the extraordinary quality and detail of Gibbons' carving, it's worth remembering that this was an age without the advantages of modern tools or even sandpaper. A smooth result was achieved by fine finishing wood carvings with equisetum or horsetail, also commonly known in the past as scouring rush, a common perennial plant whose dried, silicate-coated stems are abrasive. Grinling Gibbons died in 1721 and was buried at the Inigo Jones designed Church of St Paul in Bedford Street, Covent Garden. And next time I shall say a little more about St James Piccadilly and Wren's involvement with other churches in the developing West End of London. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.